Rev up your engines. If you're looking for a good used car, hey, maybe you're looking at Hondas. Here's an 07 Honda Accord. Guy just bought it for $4 grand. Let's see if he got a good deal, if he got ripped off, and you'll see what you get if you buy one of these used. Now, one big reason that you might want to buy an older car like this is because of what's under the hood. This is a 2.4 liter double red cam, low emissions vehicle, intelligent VTEC, nice size, 4-cylinder engine. It's not turbo, it's not GDI. Now it gets over 30 miles a gallon on the highway, but they last. This doesn't burn oil. This is not a problem engine like some of the later model Hondas where they have oil dilution. This is not GDI, so there's no extra injector pressure. This is not turbo, so there's no extra pressure. These things are made to last and last and last. Unlike the modern ones, they have all that technology and they have problems with them. So, unlike the new Hondas where they had to recall like 720,000 of them because the fuel pumps might leak because they have GDI high pressure fuel pumps, well, guess what? This has got a low pressure fuel pump. It's inside the gas tank. I've been working on cars for 57 years. You know how many fuel pumps that I've changed where the fuel pump is inside the gas tank on Hondas? None. I've never seen one go bad, right? And even if it leaked a little, it would be leaking inside the gas tank. Gasoline leaking in gasoline, right? No problem. Not a GDI that if it leaks on top of the engine, you're gonna start a fire. They were simpler, they were better made in those days. Does it have one of those horrible CVT transmissions? No. It is a regular, geared, automatic transmission. Now this car's 18 years old. Hey, look. Original power steering pump, regional alternator, the AC still works. Now, it's an East Coast car, so you see superficial rust like that, but it doesn't mean that much. This particular one was made in Ohio. Honda's been making cars in Ohio for decades and decades. They do a pretty good job building them in Ohio. This isn't something made in Mexico. No, it was built in Ohio. They still make them there in Ohio. They have made over 12.5 million Accords in Ohio. Good technology. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, you can get better gas mileage in newer ones, of course. But the level of technology in these is so low. Anybody can fix them when they break. They take a long time to break, but when they do break, they're so much simpler to fix. This battery, just a plain old battery. Everything on these things is simple. Braking system has a regular vacuum booster on it, not some kind of fancy computerized stuff. Even though it's another car, the wheels, the alloy wheels are still in pretty good shape. And as we look at the undercarriage, still really solid. Honda knew how to build these things in Ohio. They're pretty well undercoated. They don't have rust problems. You notice you don't see all the paint coming off around the wheel wells. These things are solid built. Now a new one is $32,000 around here. I just looked it up. That was the cheapest one I could find. You paid $4 grand for this car? It's got 164,000 miles on it. Doesn't burn oil. Runs good. Chips good, right? Now a lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to buy a car with that kind of mileage. These cars, they hold up. Now, 5, 10 years from now, would I want to buy a late model Honda with that kind of mileage? I would really think twice, because turbocharged GDI, CVT transmission, many of those things will break by then. They cost a fortune to repair. In a lot of cases, nobody really knows how to repair them. I often see guys try to repair CVT transmissions. They do a crappy job. They never work right in the first place. The old technology is known. People know how to work on them. You can buy one that has that kind of mileage because they last so long. The highest I've ever seen on an Accord is about 540,000 miles. I've read about ones that went 1 million miles and stuff, but the amount of mileage this thing has on it, being 18 years old, that's actually kind of low mileage. And there's ones out there that have even lower mileage if you can find them. Of course, they don't have the convenience of an SUV. This only has 2 doors, right? Oh my God, people actually have to pull the seat up and climb in the back seat. How inconvenient, you know? The interior, aside from a little dust, look, nothing's cracked. They don't build one like they used to. And look, a real parking brake, not that electronic crap. Still got the stock radio, everything on it works. Sunroof, if you want, I personally think they're stupid. Millions of nice seat covers you can buy if you got a few tears in the seat covers. So let's get my big scan tool out and see how this thing hangs up. Old cars are a lot slower, so you gotta have patience with them. And as you can see, it's thinking away. It's read the VIN number, knows it's an Accord 07. Like I said, the older ones take a little bit of time because the computers aren't as fast in them. It's still do a small topology scan, so that's what we're gonna do. You can see it has the obligatory little tree center. This is black ice. I didn't know that black ice has some type of smell. I thought black ice was just ice. It doesn't have any odor at all, but I guess you learn something every day. Like I said, it's an older car, takes a little bit longer. So finally, it's found 3 trouble codes. Something this old, John, they're going to find some things. Most of them probably won't mean much. And this is where, if you have a mechanic check out a used car, he's got to be somebody who knows this stuff like me, because dishonest ones, they can show you, oh, look, it's got these trouble codes. Oh, it's going to cost a fortune to fix it. A lot of them don't mean anything. So we'll analyze these. Well, it's almost done. It hasn't found any more than the 3 yet. Now it's done, and as you can see, there's 3 trouble codes. So we'll start with the ECM. See what that is. In this case, the trouble codes are, like I say, it's a little slower on these older cars. That's just how it goes. Catalyst system below threshold. That's typical as they age. If the catalytic converter gets below like 95% efficiency, it trips the code. The cars can run perfectly fine. You can put a little catalytic converter cleaner in. A lot of times they'll help clean it out. But if your car runs okay, it really, I've had customers drive them 5 years that way. And one guy they did, after the 5th year, he brought it back and the light went off because he bought a different gas. He went to Shell instead of Exxon, and it stopped doing it because the gas burnt better. Time being, we'll erase these jobs. And it's got one more code. ABS. A lot of times they get a little wanky as they get old. Battery voltage failure, so we'll erase that one too. Now that's a typical problem. When your car gets old, the battery gets weak. They'll start tripping codes just because the battery is weak. You replace the battery. If you don't reset these codes, they'll stay in permanent memory, so we'll erase that too. It's old, so you gotta turn the ignition switch off, turn it back on. The new ones, you don't have to do that. And so now that's gone, so we'll start her up and we'll look at live data. So we'll go back to ECM. Remember, black is good, red's bad. Here we go. Now we'll start looking at stuff. Notice it's all black. MAF sensor's good. Now look, here's the airflow lambda. 1 is perfect. It goes between 0.9998 and 1. Almost perfect or off 1/100th. You can't complain about a car that's got that kind of mileage on it. Oh, and the battery's putting out plenty of voltage. See, everything's black, everything's working. Now, you'll often see this max engine speed. It'll show 0, and that's just a software flaw. It has nothing to do with how the thing's running. So don't be fooled by data that's bad. And we can see misfires, 0s across the board. Pulses from the cam and crank are fine. That mileage, hey, 18 years, idles like a dream. Now it looks to me as if this thing still has the original struts on it. Everything looks totally original, and for original struts, we're going over these horrible Rhode Island bumpy roads. It's not bad. I can see they're worn a little. It does bounce more than normal, but it's totally drivable. It's not like you're losing control. And here we go. We'll give it a little gas. Honda engine. Smooth shifting. The engine sounds great. They know how to make engines. At least they used to know how to make engines. And this one is no exception to the rule. This engine doesn't burn oil. Still gets 30-something miles a gallon on the highway. Hey, it's an excellent car for $4,000. No problem pulling in front of people. We didn't even have to give it full gas. Like I said, they don't make them like they used to. If you can find one like this, no rust, runs this good for $4,000, my advice is stamp it up. Even if you don't need a car, you could sell it to somebody else for more money, or find somebody who really needs a car and they'll really be happy to take it off your hands. Sometimes he says it gets a little shaking at highway speeds, and people told them it might be the axle. So we're going to go back in and jack it up and check that out. Let's jack it up in here and check this one first. First to see if anything's wobbling. No, there's no play. We'll spin it around. Tire's fine. He's already had them check the balance and stuff on it. So we'll look underneath. They said there might be a problem with the drive shaft. Well, the inside looks good, but there's no rips or tears on this thing. Yeah, there's a little bit of play on the inner CV joint. Let's check the other side. That inner joint has a little play. Doesn't have any play either. Tire's not out around. Now it looks to me that this one has been replaced in the past. Around here you see all this corrosion on the transmission. That's totally normal because it's aluminum and aluminum pits from the salt on the road. And this lived in Indiana, now it's in Rhode Island. This is totally normal, it's nothing to worry about. As long as the steel parts are good like this, it's not a problem with rust. This is just normal corrosion. It's not something I'd worry. There's nothing that needs to be done anytime in the near future, really. If you're an absolute fanatic, yeah, you could change the drive shaft and have the tires rebalanced and the alignment rechecked by a pro. Because a lot of times I see them getting shaking like that, 55, 60, 65, they don't. And it's either the alignment's off or the balance is wrong. And guys that do that stuff often don't do such a great job anymore. They're all young kids on machines. They just follow what the machine says, and sometimes the software to the machine is wrong, so they align it wrong, and it's going to do something like that. It's nothing to worry about. It's no biggie. But if you want to talk about saving big money, and let's say instead of living in Rhode Island, you lived in Massachusetts, this baby's 18 years old. It doesn't need testing for emissions anymore. So if anything goes wrong with the stupid emission system, you can continue to drive it just like in Tennessee where they have no emissions testing at all. It's a big advantage to buying a good, solid built old car. It's going to be cheaper to insure. It's going to be cheaper to repair, and it's going to need less repairs because there's a lot of things that you won't have to fix because you're not having to go through one of those stupid emissions testing because the car is grandfathered. Unfortunately, he's in Rhode Island, so he's got to wait till it's 25 years old. Still got to wait a few years for that, but check your local laws when you're going to buy something like this. You might be really surprised the money you're going to save, the less headaches you're going to have, and have a nice car to drive around with that only costs $4,000. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.